64 gig retro gaming goodness.
Welcome to DOS Days, a nostalgic look back at PC gaming from the mid-80s to mid-90s. This is a companion piece series to Player One Memories, which covers the arcade scene during this same period. For this series, I'll be jumping back and looking at all those great DOS era and early CD-ROM titles that I played and loved so much, as well as the times and places I experienced them. So let's jump on back to 1996, which saw the release of Toonstruck by Virgin Interactive, a huge, massive, expensive game that was a bit of a gamble, at least by the time it was actually released. Toonstruck was another grand in style and production values point-and-click adventure game, and at the start of its long road to completion in 1993, this genre on PCs was the king. It was what PC gaming was known to by the mainstream audience, and if you were a DOS kid, you probably played your fair share of simulators and RPGs as well. But the point-and-click was in its heyday and beloved by most. By 1993 also saw the release of Doom, the genre-defining first-person shooter that essentially changed PC gaming overnight within a year, and the genre stole the limelight of many of PC's most beloved gaming styles and pushed them to the side with a shotgun blast to the face. Toonstruck's development, for a multitude of reasons, took way longer than Virgin Interactive had initially anticipated, starting in 1993 and eventually being released in 1996. It missed the golden age of the genre and was released when PC gamers' tastes had changed to high-powered 3D gaming. Hence, one of the genre's best games slipped through the cracks, and many a gamer just missed it completely. Toonstruck was a game that mixed FMV and cartoon animation into a surreal adventure that takes its tone and style from a mixture of movies such as Who Framed Roger Rabbit and the adult humor of something like Ralph Bakshi's Fritz the Cat. The main star of the game is actor Christopher Lloyd as the animator Drew Blank, creator of a popular cartoon that he now loathes. His boss asks him to come up with an ultra-cute spin-off show by the next day. In his depressed writer's block state, he falls asleep and awakens to his cartoon on the TV, and for no apparent reason he gets sucked into his own cartoon universe he created. Here he meets Flux Wildly, Drew's favorite creation that's never been greenlit to have his own show, and he becomes your sidekick, helping you with puzzles and context in the world. They essentially have to stop the Count Nefarious from using a machine which turns everything in this bright and colourful Toonland into dark, evil, depressing creations. You have to gather parts to make the Cutifier, a device which counteracts the Count's machine and restores peace once again to the land and will allow Drew to return to the real world.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
With Virgin securing Christopher Lloyd to star, Dan Castellaneta, the voice of Homer Simpson, as Flux, and the brilliant Tim Curry as the bad guy Count Nefarious, they had really secured the surefire winners of acting talent. The game's development, however, was a roller coaster that took 3 years to complete at the cost of $8 million. It went through a complete rewrite, starting as a kid's game and being rewritten into a more adult-style affair. They ended up using the Legend of Cry-India Malcolm's Revenge point-and-click adventure engine, which essentially had to be rewritten to fit the game and cost the production 1 year of development time. They employed an 8-camera setup to capture Christopher Lloyd to put him in the game, and at its peak it had over 230 people working on it at once. It was in most respects the biggest game Virgin Interactive ever attempted. Despite all the behind-the-scenes chaos, Toonstruck is just a wonderful point-and-click adventure game right up there with the best of Sierra and LucasArts, oozing quality at every turn. They employed a context-sensitive approach to game gameplay, doing away with the traditional word linking style used in most point-and-clicks of that era, meaning pointing at any object immediately lets you interact with it in its intended purpose, and basically streamlines the game. Dialogue options and trees are all present when talking to the 52 characters that populate the game. You also have the ability to switch between Flux and Drew to solve puzzles, or to talk to various characters, with obviously different outcomes. The puzzles are fairly logical in a cartoon setting, so you gotta set your brain to mindless and start taking everything literally as what the characters say, because that's usually what that means. And the puzzles are fairly easy to solve once you're in this weird mindset, with exploring the mad world being one of its biggest charms. The dialogue and witty humor on display at every turn never fails to give you a good laugh. The world is also massive, spanning 2 discs and 75 locations in total, with over 80 puzzles to solve. The game was originally supposed to be 3 discs long, with an entire section cut from the final release, and it was going to be used in the sequel, which unfortunately never came to be. Although playing the game, it is a complete story and doesn't feel like something was missing or taken away. The game is very user-friendly as well, with the simplicity of the context-sensitive gameplay and the fact that you can't die, LucasArts style, meaning there's none of that Sierra trial and error nonsense and reloading going on. Christopher Lloyd is really great as Drew. He's definitely given it his all, and it's refreshing at a time when FMV was usually dodgy at best, and the supporting cast is excellent in their own right. The graphics overall are exceptional in their design, color, and animation. There were absolutely no expenses denied in bringing this humor-packed adventure to life. The game eventually saw release in 1996 in a very different PC landscape that 1993 was, and ended up selling 150,000 units in 1996, which was well below Virgin's expectations, which meant the planned sequel was axed immediately, and proved the point-and-click genre had been replaced on PC by bazookas and 3D accelerator cards. Despite the game being very well received by the press, it didn't help, coupled with the extremely bizarre marketing, which in my opinion doesn't represent the game in question at all. Despite everything though, I'd rank Toonstruck in my top 10 favorite point-and-clicks of the classic 90s era. It represents the genre perfectly and captures the style and humor of its subject matter oh so well. The game is currently available on GOG, Good Old Games, to play on modern PCs, so don't sleep on this chance to play one of the genre's most underappreciated 90s classics.